For once, it feels like the New York Giants might actually be catching a break. I know, that's not something we've been able to say very often in recent years. The NFC East is notorious for drama, injuries, and off-field chaos, and usually, the Giants are the team at the center of it. But as this preseason rolls on, it's our rivals who are feeling the heat. Philadelphia? They're dealing with a major blow after Pro Bowl guard Landon Dickerson went down with an injury. That's a huge hole in their protection for Jalen Hurts. Dallas? The Micah Parsons contract saga is in full swing, with tension between the star pass rusher and the front office. Washington? Their star receiver Terry McLaurin is locked in a dispute over his value, and the situation has no resolution in sight. Meanwhile, at 1925 Giants Drive, the noise is minimal. No headline-grabbing holdouts. No training camp disasters. No controversial roster moves dominating the talk shows. For Giants fans, it's almost unsettling, but in the best way possible. After years of feeling like the franchise was cursed with drama, it's nice to watch the rest of the NFC East wrestle with its own problems while our team quietly builds momentum. The last time this franchise got a genuine break? Honestly, I can't even pinpoint it. From the Saquon Barkley contract battles, to constant quarterback questions, to injuries gutting our depth chart, the Giants have been through the grinder. But now, the distractions belong to someone else. And that might be the first real sign that things are changing. But let's be clear, this isn't just about other teams falling apart. It's about the Giants building something real from the inside out. From minicamp to OTAs to training camp, there's been a different energy around this team. Players talk about it. Coaches talk about it. Reporters see it. There's a quiet confidence that's starting to seep into the building, and it all starts with the defensive line. Brian Burns is already proving why he's one of the most dangerous pass rushers in the league. Dexter Lawrence, still a nightmare for opposing centers and guards. Kayvon Thibodeau looks ready to make his leap into stardom. Rookie Abdul is doing things you just don't see from first-year players, dominating veterans in practice, winning reps against Pro Bowl tackles. And as crazy as it sounds, fifth pass rusher Chancey Golston could start for a handful of other teams. For years, Giants fans have said, if you can't control the trenches, you can't win. Right now, this group has the potential to control every single game they play. And when you pair that kind of defensive dominance with the possibility of Russell Wilson delivering steady, competent quarterback play, it's not hard to start imagining a scenario where this team shocks the NFL. Here's the thing. In the NFL, the difference between a 5-win season and a 9-win season often comes down to a handful of plays, a few injuries, and a little bit of luck. The NFC East is a perfect example. Since 2004, there hasn't been a single repeat division champion. Teams in this division go from worst to first all the time. 7 different times since 2002, a team has climbed from the basement to the top in just 1 year. Could the Giants be next? History says it's not impossible. If you really want to map out a path for the Giants to make noise this season, here's what has to happen. 1. The pass rush must be elite. We're talking top 3 in the NFL. Burns, Thibodeau, Lawrence, and Carter have to be wrecking games on a weekly basis. The defense needs to force turnovers, rack up sacks, and make life miserable for quarterbacks. If that happens, the Giants can win ugly, and winning ugly is still winning. 2. Russell Wilson must be steady. Nobody is asking Wilson to return to his Seattle prime. What we need is the version we saw in Pittsburgh early last year, efficient, smart, and able to extend plays without forcing mistakes. If the Giants average anywhere close to 28 points per game like he did in that stretch, this team's ceiling skyrockets. 3. Malik Nabers becomes a star. Nabers already has the talent to be one of the best wideouts in the NFL. If he continues his trajectory, he could post double-digit touchdowns and draw the kind of defensive attention that opens up opportunities for every other weapon on the field. 4. Stay healthy where it counts. Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence, Burns, Carter, Nabers. Those are the pillars. Lose one for an extended stretch, and the equation changes completely. This team doesn't need perfect injury luck, but it needs far better than last year's disaster. 5. The offensive line holds up a no more musical chairs. Keep Thomas healthy, get solid play from the interior, and give Wilson just enough time to hit his reads. Now, let's be realistic. The schedule is no cakewalk. The first 8 weeks. Brutal. But if the Giants can survive that stretch and get to midseason around 500, the back half opens up. The Bears, Patriots, Packers, Raiders, and Vikings are all winnable games. Even the Cowboys, yes, the Cowboys, are beatable if that pass rush gets home. And here's where the optimism really takes hold. Once you're in the mix in December, anything can happen in the NFL. We've seen injury-ravaged teams make runs. We've seen dead teams in October turn into playoff squads by New Year's. If the Giants are healthy, physical, and confident, they could be one of those teams. Giants fans, if you're feeling this energy, now's the time to lock in. We've got you covered every single week with the latest news, in-depth breakdowns, and game day analysis you won't find anywhere else. So before we dive into the rest of the season outlook, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and ring the bell icon so you never miss a moment of Big Blue coverage. If you follow the Giants long enough, you know the feeling. A season starts with optimism, injuries hit, a few games slip away late, and by Thanksgiving, we're talking about the draft. But something about this year feels different, and it's not just the absence of chaos. It's the leadership. Ryan Dabble and Joe Schoen have worked methodically to rebuild this roster the right way. They've invested heavily in the trenches. They've added proven playmakers instead of gambling on potential alone. They've put Russell Wilson in a position where he doesn't have to be a hero, just a steady hand guiding a talented roster. It's the defensive identity. The best Giants teams of the past, from the Super Bowl squads to the playoff contenders of the 2000s, had one thing in common: they could dominate the line of scrimmage. This defensive line might be the closest thing we've seen to those glory days in over a decade. It's the rising young stars. Malik Nabers, Abdul Carter, Deontay Banks, John Michael Schmitz. These aren't just future pieces. They're ready to make an impact now. And when your rookies and second-year players are pushing veterans in practice, you know the culture is shifting. Most of all, it's the opportunity. The NFC East is wide open. The Eagles aren't invincible. The Cowboys are distracted. Washington is in transition. If there was ever a time for the Giants to leap forward, this is it. Final thoughts, let's not sugarcoat it. The Giants still have plenty to prove. The offensive line has to be more than just okay. Russell Wilson has to be more than just a caretaker. The defense has to translate August dominance into December wins. And above all, this team has to avoid the injury bug that's bitten them year after year. But for the first time in a long time, there's legitimate reason to believe. The pieces are here. The schedule offers opportunities. The division is vulnerable. And history has shown that in the NFC East, fortune favors the bold and the unexpected. If the Giants can stay healthy, keep their edge, and let that defensive line do what it's built to do, this could be the season where, just wait till next year, finally turns into why not us. Big Blue has been waiting a long time for a break. Maybe, just maybe, this is the year they take it and run.